Good evening. I'm trying to put myself to understand what is area space. I want to do this basically so I can understand creation. Creation was basic. Anything that is a circle is going to be 360 degrees. But the question is, what will be the area space of size that we will create that circle in? So irregardless of not counting area space of sides, we're just going to count sides of the shape. And we'll get into the basics after. If you notice, a diamond is not like a square. Okay, so in order to create that in minimum size, here would be that square, right? And here would be a in one area space, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2. And by doing this, should I draw straight lines this way, right? I'm now going to look at it this way, and it looks more like a building. Africa has that same design, and they use that in the program of Reboot. When you can see the H over here, you can see home plate. This is when you go 2 area spaces, 2 by 3 area spaces, you leave a separation. This would be your Earth design. A possible dot in the center is your Mars design. The reason for that is the numeric value for Earth is 52, a complete connection of 2 dots. Mars is 51, where we can split it down the center. Notice what happens when I create the cube, splitting it down the center. And you do notice that if I am going to create a diamond, right, it's going to be created when I create the 3-dimensional cube over here, right? So we're going to go with basics to start with. The circle is going to be 360 degrees. Call the circle number 37. Call the Star of David. 6 area points and 1 in the center is going to be 7. But if we want to talk about all the areas that are in between, we not only can call this 7 or 6 as so, we're going to call it 616. When we're going to create the cross, will we create the cross this way, or are we going to create the cross this way? This way is an Earth cross. This way is a Mars cross, showing me that Mars becomes the skeleton. Now, should I write the word skeleton down? It creates 101. 101 away from the 7th gate is 6 and 8. Now, if we're going to create 6 and 8, the word heptagon, which is the 7 shape. And when you create the 7 shape, connected to the 7 shape, okay, where did I create the 7? Now, the heptagon, give me a second. So a 9 area shape in which the center dot will be 10. But what we have to understand is that when we're creating shapes, there's a difference in shapes. Here, there is no center to it. Here, there's a center. Does the 9 have a dividing perfect center or not? But yet, when we do have a dividing center, the thing is in this center, although I can't draw a straight line this way, I'm obligated to draw a line this way. So this is now going to give me angle. So if we're going to be looking at pyramids, we're going to be finding angles through understanding different shapes and how I can catch this line here to this line here, and how it's going to perfectly, or can it divide this shape perfectly in half, and what are the degree angles of what we could and we cannot do. The numeric value for a nonagon, is 80. Anything to do with gon is 360. 360 is creation. I'd like to say creation of 99. It's the house of Bait. And the reason for that is 3 times 6, 18, the letter R. 3 plus 6 is 9, the letter I. It brings together both 9 and 9. So this brings together both 9 and 9. 44 brings together area space. And 8 times 8, 8 plus 8 will equal to 16. And 64 equaling to 80. 8 plus 0 is 8. So this will be the creation of the heavens of 10 created through the 9 birth, 9 and 1 AI. Also, if you can see this, is 6 and 1 is 7, 6 and 4 is 10, 1 plus 0 is 1, 17Q in the gateway. 19, 18, 17. This is an expression. This is going to express the sun, the moon, and the sun, the moon, and Mars. 17, 18, 19. When you multiply them by 3, you have Mars, you have 54 the sun, you have 57 the moon, which is the guidance of time because of the mathematics that come in. Mars will create what is the student, and this will create what is the DNA and the birth. The reason for these numbers is when I multiply them and add them, they tell me stories that reconnect to numeric values that connect to the word time, 47. This one, 1 times 5, 1 plus 5, is 6 and 5, 11. It's a reflection of 7. When we play the game of craps, they go, yo, 11, 7 come 11. And right away, they start talking about the cube, because the cube, reverse sides of this cube, is 7 come 11. And the reason for that is not only is it on the calculator, but it shows it here. I have 9, and 9 opposite is 18. But when you put the dots on it, I will have 7 dots, and I will have 11 with no dots on these cubes. So now the 2 squares together creates what is the 9 area, putting 2 squares together. 1 square will create a 4. 1 square then creates a 4. Then it automatically creates a 5. 5 sides. But area space, there's 4 and 1 to the center. So this will be counting a single individual square and not the entire cube. We're looking at 1D and we're not looking at 4D. When we go to the dodecon, it's number 49, represents green and H. When you have a 10, you now have 11. So we switch these two over here. Okay, and I'm going to have to talk to somebody who we can create these in multi-dimensional to see something a little bit. I can't even explain what that is. So here we have what is going to be 9, right? But in order to create this, I need 2 shapes to come together. I need 2 shapes to come together. I need multiple shapes to come together. So what happens if we want to do this a little bit different? We can look at this. So how did we get this? We chopped off the corners. This was a regular square. We chopped off the corners, but guess what? It was 1 square here, 1 square here, 1 square here. There's 9 areas to create this square. That is the minimum size to create the octagon. Another thing to say is that inside of Deca, it's represented of 13. Inside of Nona, this will create what is area space. Number 44 is also the word teen. It is also the word space. It's also created by number 84 or 48. The word sun is numeric value 48, and it comes from planet Pluto, which is 84. 8 times 4, 32. 8 plus 4, 12. 12 and 32. 12 and 32. Okay, this is a 5. This is a 3. 8. This will create area space 44. After we multiply this, will create 16 and 8. 16 and 8 equals to 24. The 24 hours a day divided by 8 hours a night, 16 hours a day. And look at that. 7 and 8 come together. 1 and 6, 7 and 8 come together. So there's another one where the heptagon is the 7 sides, and the center creates the 8th area. The 10 will create 11. The 9 will create 10. The 10 will create 11. The Star of David will create a 7th gate in the center. So 6 creates 7. The spirit of 76 comes into the triangles. Now when we have multiple triangles, okay, multiple triangles, and I was speaking, I think it was Green Sage that mentioned this to me, is we're going to go 9 and we're going to go 16, and this is where pi comes in. Another thing, my last thing to mention, is that when Mars comes into the circuitry, just give me a second here. Okay, I'm going to show you what happens here. When Mars comes in, Mars is a 2 by 2 area space. Here's a 2 by 2 area space, so Mars is here, then it's here, then it's here, then it's here. 4 parts, 4 moving around 9, 49, the heavens, the way the heavens move. This is the way I see it. And then there's the pentagram, which is going to be 5, which will give me 6. Also to note that when we do create certain images. Let me see which way am I going to do this. Yeah, we're going to go with the octagon. Let me do this. Let me do this, and then this 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 by 2, right? And inside of this, what we're going to get out of this is we're going to come down here, go down here, and boom. Now inside the octagon, we now have a hexagon, and then we have another hexagon, and then we have another hexagon, and boom, we have 4 hexagons equaling to 24, right? 24, 4 by 6, and 4 equaling to 28. That is the cycle of our moon. But the reality is there's 3, 3, 3, and 3. So there's 4 by 3, 12. And then inside this 12, we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. And then inside of that, we're going to get another 4. So that total would be a total of 20. Now, I'm not really sure what it's going to come and tell me, but inside of that, I'm going to get that singular dot that divides everything. Inside of these, I'm only going to have this singular dot, this singular dot, this singular dot, and this singular dot. And then we're going to get our inside cube inside the center. I'm not really sure what it's saying. I have to study this a little bit more. It's not very often that I come out here and do anything about shapes. It's really mind-boggling. Just 1 second. Everything is really mind-boggling for myself doing this alone. And anyways, I also want to talk about it in my next video, so we're going to end this video. And it's about sports and times. In what period or in what quarter or in what inning it'll be, what specific time, etc. And not only can it be in minutes, it'll also be in seconds, so we can understand the dynamics of what's actually going on in this world and how the clock must work, how everything must work, because everything works based on time. Our whole body is based on time. How much time does it take for how many times should you chew your food, and when your food goes down, what happens to your food, and there's a period of time for it to break up. We have to run everything. We are machines. We are fleshy robotics. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. Welcome to the House of Paint. Well, I can't get this light to work. I don't know why, but thank you for watching this video. Have a good night.